Road, Hoover Mill. This would be headed in your direction too if it moves more on a northerly track in there very quickly. So that's lowest level of your home, most interior room if you can. That's usually a closet or a bathroom. You got to be getting in that shelter now. There's a tornado on the ground. Radar confirmed tornado now in Holmes County. Again, just on the north side of Caryville here, moving onto the north side of Bonifay as well. Sorry about the radar jumping around on me there, but where you see that circular dropout right there over Hathaway Mill, that's where we do have now a confirmed tornado on the ground, moving off to the east-northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So go back to the base velocities here. You can see where that couplet is. We'll zoom back in on it once again here and circular go back across some of these other roads as well. So right there, that's where we have that strongest little couplet that's moving again toward Caney Branch, toward Coy Henson, toward County Road 177A. All of those areas got to be in your shelter now. We've got a confirmed tornado on the ground just off to the north of Caryville, moving through Holmes County. Elsewhere, we also do have some severe weather. These are some stronger thunderstorms in association and ahead of the cold front, but you can see that couplet quite nicely still showing up there. So moving more off to the north as opposed to east-northeast. So this probably goes off to the north of Hathaway Mill. Actually, right, that's where it is at the current moment. So we're going to go back to our correlation coefficient. This is just telling us where debris is being lofted up in the air. So anytime you see this signal also showing up with that couplet that we were just showing, that shows us that debris is being picked up into the air, and that's what's going on there. So right over Sandy Lane now, moving toward Caney Branch again, and that will be there very quickly. This is probably headed toward Caney Branch at the current moment, and considering where it was to where it's going, this is probably going to continue right along that. So Beale Packing Road back over toward Hoover Mill eventually, as well as Flowing Well Road, all of those areas. If you're in this area and you're in this blue flashing polygon in Holmes County, you need to be in your shelter right now. That's lowest level of your home, most interior room, usually a closet or a bathroom, and you want to take with you in there, make sure you've got shoes, tennis shoes on, take some pillows to cover yourself up, maybe some blankets, get into that bathtub, hang out there. You can pull up the Storm Track 13 app. You can listen to us live on that Storm Track 13 app as well. If you don't have that on your phone already, you can just point your phone on camera mode right there. But that is potentially a tornado on the ground there in Holmes County, moving toward Hoover Mill. That's where this is going to be headed. So as this continues on that path, this is going to be somewhere between Bethlehem and Hoover Mill very quickly. Again, this tornado warning goes until 6:15 Central Time. This is the only tornado warning at the moment. The rest of the area is under a tornado watch. We do have some stronger thunderstorms that extend back off here, and I'll come back down to this warning in just a second. But we do still have some stronger storms back across the central and western half of the area. Really all across the area, we've got some scattered stronger thunderstorms here, but this is the only one at the current moment that is rotating and producing a tornado. So again, confirmed tornado on the ground in Holmes County. As of just a few moments ago, we could see that correlation coefficient drop out. So that's telling us that there was a tornado on the ground there. Still seeing that quite nicely debris ball kind of look there to this radar. So whenever we're talking about there being a hook or a hook signature, that's what we're talking about here. So you can actually see parent thunderstorm off to the north there, and then this is the hook, and that is the tornado. So that is where we're seeing debris being lofted up into the atmosphere, and that's exactly where we have that hook couplet as well. So we've got winds going away from the radar at this location, and then we have winds moving toward the radar at that location. So that puts the tornado right there, and that's also where we're going to see this drop out, and that's telling us that there is still a confirmed tornado on the ground just off to the north and west of Caney Branch Road. This is headed toward County Road 177A. Again, Beale Packing Road. If you're on that, or you know somebody that lives there, or you're on that road, you need to be telling them to get into their shelter right now, because this is a tornado on the ground. Again, moving toward Beale Packing Road. This again is going to end up likely on the north side of Hoover Mill. So Chipley, Bonifay, this this is going to end up off to your north, at least as of right now. That's where this is headed. Again, sorry about this jumping around on me, but Hoover Mill, between Bethlehem and Hoover Mill, that's where this is going to end up eventually. Go ahead, and I'm going to get this little section off here and try to zoom in for you here. Go back and read some of this other roads. So Moss Roads. As well, we just got a new update. Will Lee Road, County Road 160, County Road 177, Creek Road, Bethlehem, in between Bethlehem and Hoover Mill, on the north side of Hoover Mill or right toward Hoover Mill. That's where this is headed. So actually now this has turned more almost due east now. So back over toward Caney Branch, that's where this tornado is at the very current moment. Again, nice strong couplet still showing up. So I'd say that this is still a tornado on the ground at this moment in time. Pull up some of the wind speeds here so we can get an estimate of what we're looking at. So somewhere between about 50 gate to gate. So this is probably somewhere in that weaker range of tornadoes, but we could be talking about this cycling up or cycling down. So this could be getting relatively stronger regardless. We've got a tornado on the ground. So who cares about the strength at the moment in time? The radar signifying that that is a tornado, again showing by CC. So this is telling us debris is being picked up into the atmosphere. We also have our hook couplet here, so storm relative velocity also showing towards and away, all showing those signs. And then our debris ball even showing up on radar, not as tight as it once was. So hopefully that's a good sign that maybe this is starting to lift, starting to get this string out just a little bit as well. So potentially seeing this weakening just a little bit as far as the signatures go, but still Hoover Mill, Bethlehem, tornado potentially on the ground around Caney Branch Road, moving toward Hoover Mill or somewhere between Bonifay and Hoover Mill. This is off to the north of Bonifay. This is off to the north of Caryville. So if you're anywhere back, cross it toward I-10, back toward 90, off to the south. That is off to the south of where this tornado is. So Bonifay right now, you're fine. This should be off to the north. But if you live off to the north of Bonifay, closer to Hoover Mill, you still need to be in your shelter and you get in your lowest level of your home. Most interior room, closet, bathroom, take with you blankets, pillows, whatever you can to cover yourself up. Hang out in there until this does pass on by. We just got another scan, and again, not seeing the purple show up here in the hook. So that again is showing signs potentially of weakening. Yep, and we're getting this to broaden out a little bit. So you'll note this doesn't look as strong. There's not as tight of a couplet, but that doesn't mean that this won't re-strengthen into a stronger couplet as this moves toward Hoover Mill. So keeping a close eye on this, but this does look a little bit better. Starting to see some signs that this could be broadening and weakening. So that is good news. We'll go back over to the correlation coefficient. Unfortunately, that's still showing a sign of a tornado on the ground. So this still looks like a tornado on the ground somewhere near Caney Branch Road. This is moving toward Long Round Bay, Happy Hollow Road, Mount Olive Church on the north side of State Highway 79. So where you're seeing this drop out here, this potentially still could be a tornado on the ground. Even though our base velocity is showing weaker rotation and broadening out a little bit, maybe this is the debris that got lofted up into the atmosphere and is just hanging out there. But based off of that dropout on coefficients, I have to say that there's still probably a tornado on the ground, or was a tornado on the ground right around Caney Branch Road. Again, moving toward Happy Hollow Road, Whitehead Road or Whitehead Hill Road as well. I'd be in my shelter. And then again, between Hoover Mill and Bonifay, State Highway 79 on the north side of Bonifay, Mount Olive Church Road, those areas, stay in your shelter until this does pass on through. Good signs that we're seeing some weakening in this rotation. So hopefully this is a lifting tornado, and that's what we're getting on our overall signatures. But again, did have a tornado on the ground near Hathaway Mill, moved toward Caney Branch just over the last few minutes, and hopefully we're seeing a sign of a weakening trend here as this moves closer and closer toward Hoover Mill. So what we've got going on in the atmosphere, we've got a lot of spin going on. We also have a very strong cold front that's moving in our direction. So just got a new update on that scan. We'll look at it in just a second, but you can see scattered thunderstorms all across the area. We do have heavy rain as well as frequent lightning, and some of these thunderstorms are rotating. Most of these thunderstorms are producing gusty winds as well as heavy rain, occasionally frequent lightning. But this one has been really the one acting out as far as rotating, being able to produce a tornado. But it is the only one at the moment that is doing so. So that is the good news here. Is it's just this storm that's on the north side of Bonifay. It does look as though the structure is not as pronounced. It doesn't look as strong as it did, but we do still have a couplet there somewhere between Hathaway Mill and Hoover Mill right there. Still seeing kind of a couplet, and it's still showing up enough right in the area that you would want to see it as far as whether we would have a tornado or not. So something to watch. But the CC here, so our correlation coefficient, not as pronounced, so not seeing as strong of a dropout here. So could be talking about a weak tornado potentially still hanging on there, but that looks to be still in the same areas. So I would say that this at this point in time has probably lifted, so that's good news. But if you're in Lewis Lane, you're probably getting some gusty winds. County Road 177, Mount Olive Church Road. I'd stay in my shelter just in case this did tighten up once again, because that's relatively where we're still seeing the dropout. So we could be just seeing some debris still hanging out in the atmosphere in the thunderstorm. But overall, that's what I would be doing, is still hanging out in those areas that we just talked about. Just continue to hang out there just in case. We also have now a new tornado warning, and now a new confirmed tornado. I'm not seeing where they're getting the confirmed here from this. Must be near Vernon right there. So confirmed tornado right there now near Vernon. So looking at that on the couplet, trying to see where that couplet dropout is. So reflectivity, we're gonna have to go back over here and go to that. So let's pull this up, bring up our base velocities here. Not seeing where they're getting this couplet from, but I did see that dropout on CC. So there's the dropout there just on the north side of Vernon. So that's got to be the tornado that they're talking about here with the confirmed tornado. That's got to be it. But it's hard to pick that one out. So still have the confirmed here, but that doesn't look like we have much going on. We have a new tornado warning now for Washington County. It does include Chipley as well as Vernon. I'm guessing it's for that right there. I'm going to pull up this and see if I can't pull up the warning myself and try to get to the bottom of where they've got this rotation pegged at. Let's just go ahead and read this warning. So observed for Holmes County, northeastern Washington, storm located over Vernon, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour, radar confirmed. So yes, that would be the CC dropout that you have there just on the north side of Vernon. So right there, even though I'm not really picking up on base velocities, not a whole lot of couplet action that I can tell there. I'm really not seeing much on radar either. So just getting enough rotation here in this thunderstorm that we've got a potential brief tornado happening just off to the north of Vernon, and confirmed by radar on that debris dropout here. So not the best signature as far as the storm structure goes, but certainly enough to be able to predict or produce some debris up into the atmosphere. So confirmed tornado now off to the north of Vernon. This is headed toward Brock Crossing as well as Bells Mill, Poplar Head, Wausau, all those areas. I'd be in my shelter. Let's check the CC here to see if that did drop out on us. Yep. So not seeing it as much there. There's still some, but it's not as pronounced. So looking at this, they might drop this here relatively shortly, but it looks like what tornado was there has now lifted. Not seeing that same kind of rotation. Still seeing some dropout up here as well. So probably going to produce another tornado warning. Maybe they already did that. No, they didn't. Or maybe they put a new tornado warning on that. So let's look. Looks like they put a new box for that continued tornado warning, but this is not a confirmed anymore. So that's what that looks like. So it looks like the red line here, I think they did put that. So Hoover Mill, doesn't look like there's a confirm on that anymore, but there is still a couplet there. I continue to stay in shelter. Again, that does go until 6:15. Same thing here. I'm not seeing anything of concern, even though that this was radar confirmed, more of a brief spin up here that potentially picked up some debris and threw it up into the atmosphere. But that storm definitely not as well structured as the other storm. So not exactly seeing exactly what they are on radar there, but we can look at the other radar too. So let's go up there and see if we can get a better idea of rotation in that thunderstorm itself. But still not seeing much. It's something right through there, but still not seeing much. So potentially some a tornado going on there, but I think that's one of those cases. Maybe the radar tricked. Maybe we got a little bit of a radar trickeration going on with that thunderstorm, and this is just jumping around all over on me. Sorry about that. So again, confirmed tornado warning for northeastern portions of Washington County, as well as western and southwestern portions of Holmes County at this moment in time. Neither storm at the moment look like they're producing a tornado to me, but we could have just briefly had one to the north of Vernon along this line of convection. Same thing going on there. We did have a tornado confirmed around Hathaway Mill, and those were both radar confirmed. So we're getting signatures on radar telling us that there's a tornado on the ground. Then those will be confirmed again by survey teams over the coming days, where we do get damage reports from that. So if you do have any kind of damage reports, when it's safely to do so, make sure you are sending those in, and so we can relay those to the National Weather Service as well. You can send local reports on the app as well, the Storm Track 13 app. You can watch us live from that Storm Track 13 app. So when you get in your shelter, when you get under a warning, if you get warning, hopefully you don't have one this morning, but if you have one, you can watch us live from that point of shelter as well. So again, we do have 2 tornado warnings. Again, I'm just not seeing anything in here velocity wise that's going to show me that there's a tornado going on there at the current moment in time, but you do still see a correlation drop out here around Brock Crossroads. So right there, even though we're not getting much of a signature, I do see at least a dropout there. So I can't pick it up on reflectivity, but I am getting it on the dropout. So if there's a tornado, it possibly could be State Highway 79 between that and Brock Crossroads. So that's headed towards State Highway 277. Eventually, this could be moving toward State Highway 77 and Bells Mill, just on the north side of Wausau and Brock Crossroads. So if you're in those areas, if you're headed over towards State Park Road, as well as Foxworth Road, all of those areas are mentioning potentially hanging out in your shelter. But again, our correlation coefficient has basically dropped on out. So again, just not seeing much here. There is a little couplet going on right there, but going back to reflectivity, let's see if that lines up with anything. So just not seeing anything that's screaming tornado to me, but certainly there could be some kind of embedded circulation in this line of convection right here between Brock's Crossroad and Peel Road. So somewhere between Poplar Head and Brock Crossroad, we could have some kind of weak embedded rotation in that line. So certainly the radar showing signs of potential tornado ongoing there. Again, going back over here, this storm also looking much weaker and much more broad as well. So good signs across on both of those thunderstorms is that it appears that we have now dropped out of that. And yeah, we've lost the confirmation on this warning as well, but they did continue for a new tornado warning. So let's click that. That goes until 6:15 as well. So we've got 2 warnings here that do go until 6:15. So we'll carry those with you. And then looking at the rest of the area, zooming back out, because at the moment, even though we do have 2 tornado warnings here, that's continuation for both of these. Neither one of those look like they're producing a tornado to me at this moment in time. So I would continue to stay in shelter, especially from Chipley, headed back over toward Graceville. I would stay in shelter of western half of Jackson County, going back Chipley along I-10 on the north side, in between Chipley and Graceville, getting ready to have a nasty thunderstorm headed your way. Maybe some small hail, or maybe pea-sized hail potentially working working in that direction. Definitely some gusty winds. Elsewhere, we do have some stronger thunderstorms across the area. A nice line of strong convection working into West Bay, Western Bay County, as moving toward County Road 388 toward the airport here. That little line segment highlighting maybe some potential higher wind gusts. We do also have some stronger thunderstorms offshore. These storms are occasionally rotating, so we'll keep a close eye on them as they do continue to move ashore. You can even pick out a slight hook showing up there. So hopefully these elevate as they do work toward the shore, but this would be moving toward Mexico Beach as well as on the north side of Port St. Joe. So keeping a close eye on that thunderstorm too. But we do have 2 tornado warnings at the current moment. Not seeing any signs that those are producing tornadoes right now, while they do have a confirmed tag that's from confirmation from tornadoes several minutes ago. At the moment, it looks like those have both stopped producing a tornado, but we'll go ahead and zoom back in on these and investigate one more time for you here, get a closer look at what we see between the 2 storms. And again, not seeing anything here that is telling me that there's definitely a tornado on the ground anywhere. We do still have some broad rotation around Hoover Mill, but that again has lessened up. And we're not seeing as much lightning strike activity either, and that's good signs as well. Possibly why I'm not so much believing that we had any kind of tornadic activity through this one, because never really got any kind of lightning. And typically, once you get that tornado down to the ground, you're getting a little bit of extra friction. You start to create a little extra nuclei in the cloud cover, so you get more lightning activity to show up. That's typically that stronger sign of the stronger updraft, is that you get a little more lightning to start popping whenever you get these things to rotate a little stronger. And you can see still getting some rotation here, even seeing a signature of this trying to tighten back up. So we'll look back at that. You can tell that this is kind of turned into a line segment once again. So Chipley, I'd be paying attention to this. Same thing going back over toward Cottondale on Richter Crossroads, Bahoma, those areas. I'd pay attention to this thunderstorm because we're getting this to kind of line back up, and you can tell that you got this hook motion already happening in this thunderstorm. So potentially we could see something kind of cycle and maybe try to hook and tighten up right here, or maybe a little further up that line. So you can kind of tell there's a little bit of a tail here. So maybe somewhere between Bonifay and Chipley, we could be talking about this trying to tighten back up once again. So seeing that thunderstorm right there, and even seeing that continue as it does look back this way. So at the moment in time, I'm not seeing any kind of activity that would say that there's a tornado ongoing. We still have some rotation here that's now moving out of the tornado warning. So just now off to the east of Hoover Mill, basically on the county line between Jackson and Holmes County, right there off the south of Graceville. This is a pretty dangerous thunderstorm, regardless of the fact that it's probably not producing a tornado, but we're still getting some rotation embedded in that. So certainly could be talking about that trying to cycle back up. And then this one also moving out of the warned area. So at the moment, I would say both tornado warnings probably could be canceled at this point in time because they're moving out of the tornado warning themselves, and nothing looks like it is producing a tornado at the moment either. So we'll keep a close eye on this thunderstorm as it gets closer toward Mexico Beach, as well as those thunderstorms as this jumps around on me, as well as these thunderstorms offshore as they continue to move onshore. But we're going to go ahead and throw this back to programming. If we get another tornado warning, or we see something that says we've got a tornado ongoing, or it looks like it's going to be imminent, we'll jump back on air. So make sure you keep it right here, or you can keep it on the Storm Track 13 app. You can always check on weather alerts on mypanhandle.com, and you can keep up with us on social media as well.
At least 6 people, neighborhoods devastated.
There's a house gone right here.
The system now on the move. Millions of Americans